Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Audrey Hale? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoy this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Audrey Elizabeth Hale was born in 1995 and lived in Nashville, Tennessee. The authorities said that Audrey was a biological female who appeared to have identified as a male and used the name Aiden Hale. But at the time making this video, they have not been able to confirm Audrey's gender identity. I will refer to her as a female. This is what the police have done in this case, and Audrey's mother referred to her as my daughter in comments made to ABC News. When Audrey was young, she attended a Presbyterian school in the Green Hills neighborhood of Nashville. It is called the Covenant School. It had classes from pre-kindergarten to 6th grade. Audrey lived with her parents about 3 miles from the school. She was being treated for an emotional disorder, and a neighbor indicated that Audrey was on the autism spectrum. In 2014, Audrey attended an art college in Madison, Tennessee. She graduated in 2022. She worked as a graphic designer and illustrator. She created logos and branding for companies. She wanted to help tell a company's story and bring a whimsical and lighthearted feel. At various times, she also had a job as a cat sitter and grocery shopper. On her website, Audrey said that she enjoyed video games, movies, and playing sports. There was a childlike part of her that loved to run on the playground. She also mentioned enjoying spending time with her 2 cats. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On March 27, 2023, at 9:57 a.m., Audrey Hale sent an Instagram message to a friend of hers who was a former middle school basketball teammate. Audrey indicated that she was planning on dying today, and it was not a joke. She continued by saying, quote, "You'll probably hear about me on the news after I die. This is my last goodbye. I love you. See you again in another life," unquote. The friend responded, indicating that Audrey had so much more life to live. Audrey replied, quote, "I know, but I don't want to live. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to upset you or get attention. I just need to die," unquote. Audrey also said that one day this would make more sense. She left more than enough evidence behind, but something bad is about to happen. The friend notified the police, but the police did not quickly respond to that call. Audrey drove a Honda Fit to the Covenant School. Again, she had attended this school years earlier. She was carrying 3 firearms with her: a Kel-Tec sub-2000 9mm rifle, a Weed Star Arms Grunt AR pistol with a stabilizing brace, and a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield EZ 9mm pistol. All 3 weapons are semi-automatic. At about 10:13 a.m., Audrey shot through the glass doors at the side entrance of the school. She made entry into the school and made her way to the 2nd floor. She fired at students and employees. She appeared to shoot at anyone she came in contact with. Officers arrived a few minutes later. 5 officers made their way to the 2nd floor and confronted Audrey. She fired at them. 2 officers returned fire and killed her. Audrey Hale was pronounced dead at 10:27 a.m. She was 28 years old. Before she was killed, Audrey murdered 6 people: 3 students at the school, who were all 9 years old, a 61-year-old custodian, a 61-year-old substitute teacher, and the 60-year-old head of the school. The police executed a search warrant of Audrey's residence. They found 2 shotguns, a manifesto, and a detailed map of the Covenant School, which contained potential entry points. The police believe that Audrey conducted surveillance before committing the murders. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. It seems clear that the manifesto has a lot of information that speaks to the motive in this case, but at the time making this video, it has not been released. The police said that Audrey may have had some resentment because she was required to go to the Covenant School. This makes it sound as though she may have been anti-Christian. This could have been a hate crime. Item number 2. In many ways, Audrey Hale's background was inconsistent with someone who would carry out this type of crime. For example, she did not have a criminal record. She was described as normal and nice, but maybe a little quiet. And people seemed to be very surprised that she murdered 6 people. Item number 3. Audrey appeared to be highly sadistic. She carefully planned an attack and conducted surveillance. She visited 5 different stores where she purchased 7 weapons. Her objective was almost certainly to murder as many innocent people as possible. When she entered the school, she appeared to randomly attack students and workers. She fired at people as she encountered them. It does not appear as though she wanted to murder specific people at the school. In addition, Audrey had considered conducting an attack at a mall. The police said that Audrey may have been planning on attacking family members, so at this level, she may have had specific targets in mind. If she had completed the shooting at the school, perhaps her family members were next on her list. This makes me wonder if Audrey attacked the school in order to hurt her family members, perhaps thinking of this as a fate worse than death. Item number 4. One of Audrey's objectives was her own death. Before committing the murders, she sent a message indicating that she was insistent on dying. The message also contained statements consistent with an external locus of control. Audrey indicated that something bad was about to happen, as if it was outside of her control. Yet she was the one who carried out the attack. This was a choice that she made. She decided to be a killer. Audrey also tried to argue that her actions would make sense once people examined the evidence she left behind. It appears as though she was trying to play the victim, like she was pushed into homicide. She attempted to justify her horrible, self-centered, and callous acts. Item number 5 is Audrey's mental health status. Not a lot is known about this right now. As I mentioned, there was a reference to an unspecified emotional disorder and to autism spectrum disorder. Some people have wondered how the mental health factors could be tied in with the murders. Without knowing what the emotional disorder is, there's no way to comment on that. Autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, is characterized by deficits in social communication and restricted, repetitive types of behavior, interest, or activities. A few examples of these symptoms: abnormal eye contact, reduced sharing of emotions, difficulty making friends, being distressed at small changes, having rigid thinking, and fixated interests. The vast majority of people with ASD do not engage in violent acts, more so than the general public. There is, however, a small group of people with this disorder, identified in the research literature, who exhibit violent offending behaviors. A large study on mass shootings found that 8 to 28% of perpetrators had autism spectrum disorder or strong indications of the disorder. The prevalence of ASD in the population is 1%. Therefore, the disorder is overrepresented in mass shootings. Research does not indicate that ASD causes the violence, but it may be a contributing factor. The strongest relationship between ASD and violence occurs when there is comorbid depression and anxiety. So the individual has ASD as well as depression, anxiety, or both. One of the theories about the connection between ASD and violence is that people with the disorder are more frequently mistreated by others. So the disorder itself doesn't cause the violence, rather people being insensitive to those with the disorder could be the problem. This brings me to item number 6. One theory that is emerging in the Audrey Hale case is that she was forced into Christianity and not allowed to express her transgender identity. As a way of striking back, Audrey conducted the attack. This is an interesting theory which may illustrate her motive, but Audrey's behavior cannot be justified. Even if Audrey was mistreated in this way, it did not give her permission to murder innocent people or to murder anyone. There is no excuse for what she did. Audrey was a vicious and cruel individual who wanted to cause as much pain and suffering as possible. Maybe the idea started with her own pain, but she is the one who crafted a homicidal plan. There are already people out there, especially those on the extreme left, who are taking Audrey's side. saying that she stood up against a major religious belief system and fought for her own identity. They have tried to blame the victims in this case. In reality, no amount of insensitivity can make Audrey's behavior morally correct or acceptable. Being denied her preferred gender expression is not an offense punishable by death. In addition, Audrey killed people completely unrelated to this alleged mistreatment. The most relevant identification for Audrey Hale should be that of sadistic killer. This label is entirely consistent with her behavior. Those are my thoughts on the case of Audrey Hale. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comments section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.